You know, we talk a lot about the price of wealth, what it takes to earn it, but what about the life we trade away to get it? We're going to dive into this incredible fable about a man who got everything he thought he wanted, only to realize he'd lost himself in the process. It might just make you rethink what you're chasing. So right off the bat, the story lays out these two completely different paths. On one side, you've got this relentless cycle: work, save, buy. It's so simple, right? But on the other side, well, that's everything that gets left behind. The simple human stuff: smiling, playing, hugging, loving. This is the core conflict we're about to see play out.
All right, let's meet our main character. His name is Serafim, and his entire life, his whole world revolves around one single thing: getting more money.
Serafim's life basically became a machine, just running on this simple three-part loop: work, save, buy, over and over. There was absolutely no room for anything else. No spontaneity, no friends, just the constant turning of those gears. This wasn't just his schedule, it was his entire reality. But here's the thing. A life that's so laser-focused always comes with a price. Every single coin he dropped into his collection cost him something way more valuable. So let's talk about what that real price was. The people around him, they saw what was happening. They tried to pull him back into the world, you know? They'd invite him for a meal or just to watch a sunset. But in Serafim's head, those weren't invitations to connect. They were just distractions from the goal. So he turned them down every single time.
And this was his go-to line: "I can't. I need to earn more money." It wasn't just an excuse. For him, it was the absolute truth. He'd built this wall around himself with his ambition, thinking he was protecting his future. But really, he was just trapping himself in the present.
So what did all that sacrifice get him? Well, he got exactly what he was working for. He became incredibly rich. But the reality of his success was this: an empty hall, piles of gold, but no one to share it with. The silence in his life was so deep, even the birds had stopped singing outside his window.
And this is where the story really takes a turn. When the waking world couldn't get through to him, a dream came along to force the issue. And this wasn't just any dream. It was a golden nightmare, and it was about to change everything.
Just imagine this for a second. He finds himself in his dream, and it's his ultimate fantasy come to life. Everything is gold. The trees, the ground, even the sky has this gold metallic glow. And at first, it must have been amazing, the final result of his whole life's work. But that beauty was completely hollow, because his golden world was missing everything that actually gives life its color and its sound. No flowers, no birds singing, no kids laughing and running around. It was a perfect world, sure, but it was also silent, sterile, and just unbelievably sad. And right there, in that silent, golden prison, the truth finally hits him like a ton of bricks. He cries out this one desperate question: what good is gold if I have no one to share it with? And that's the moment. That's the question that just shatters his entire view of the world.
So he wakes up, and the weight of that nightmare is still heavy on him. For the very first time, he looks at all his riches and feels nothing, just emptiness. So he walks outside, not as a rich man, but as someone who's finally ready to look for a different kind of treasure.
His whole transformation, it didn't start with some grand gesture. It started with a few really small, simple choices. He saw some kids playing, and for once, he just stopped to watch. When they invited him to join, he actually did. And then something broke free, a real, genuine laugh.
And that was the new math for him. That one single moment of shared laughter felt more valuable than all the gold he'd spent his entire life piling up. The weight of a fortune was lifted by one simple human connection.
And what's amazing is that the second he opened himself up to the world, it was like the world opened up right back. The silence was broken. A little bird landed on his shoulder. A dog came running up to him, tail wagging. It was like nature itself was saying, "Welcome back."
So what's the big takeaway from Serafim's journey? It's a powerful lesson about where we find life's real sparkle, what actually makes it shine.
The moral of the story is truly timeless. Money can fill a vault, but it can't fill a heart. The real shine in life, the real glow, it doesn't come from what you own. It comes from love, friendship, connecting with the world around you, and that simple, incredible joy of just being together.
And that leaves us all with a pretty big question to think about. We're all chasing something, right?
We all have things we think are valuable. But after hearing Serafim's story, it's worth taking a second to ask yourself, what is your gold? And is it making your life truly shine?